The camera shakes as officers race through a decaying farmhouse. Rain lashes the windows. A barefoot boy, soaked and shivering, stands in the living room with wild eyes. "Where is he, kid?" One cop barks, kneeling down. The boy raises a trembling finger to the wooden floor. "There," he whispers. "My brother. He's there." A thick silence follows. One officer shines his flashlight and notices a rusty metal ring poking from the floorboards. While they pry it open, the stench hits first, then a scream. "Jesus Christ, call it in! There's a hole! Oh my God!" Nobody in Elmswood had paid much attention to the old Mitchell house for years. It sat at the end of a dirt road, tucked between skeletal trees and forgotten mailboxes. Most folks thought it was abandoned. Some said it was haunted, but nobody expected what the police found there one rainy Tuesday night. It started with a 911 call from a gas station 6 miles away. A boy, no older than 7, wearing nothing but a torn hoodie and mismatched sneakers, walked in barefoot, blood on his knees and desperation in his voice. "My brother," he told the cashier, eyes pleading. "Please, he's still down there." The cashier dialed 911, barely understanding him. When the officers arrived, the boy had already guided them back to the farmhouse on foot, barely speaking, eyes glued to the ground. His name was Eli Turner, and no one had any idea who he was. As the officers entered the living room, Eli froze and pointed to a spot in the hardwood floor, right above the trapdoor. Sergeant Ramirez spotted the metal hatch first. They pulled it open and descended a rotted ladder. The smell hit them immediately. Damp earth, rust, and something far worse. They found themselves in a dimly lit basement, but what they saw made the blood drain from their faces. A small crib, a makeshift playpen, piles of rotting food containers, and in the corner, a boy, frail and wide-eyed, no older than 3, sitting quietly, hugging a dirty teddy bear beside him. Chains. Real rusted chains. Ramirez's voice cracked as he called it in. "We've got a kid, maybe 2, and you're going to want backup. Something's seriously wrong here." But that was just the beginning, because someone had gone to great lengths to hide that room. And someone was watching. The EMTs rushed the 2 boys to Elmswood General under police escort. Eli clung tightly to his younger brother Sammy in the ambulance, whispering in his ear over and over, "I found you. I found you. You're safe now." But when they arrived, doctors were stunned. Sammy was severely malnourished. He hadn't spoken a word. He reacted violently to bright lights and loud sounds. One nurse swore the boy flinched every time she moved too fast. Meanwhile, back at the farmhouse, officers scoured the house for any signs of the parents. No one was there. No food in the fridge, no mail, no personal items, just one single frame photo on the fireplace mantel. It showed a smiling woman, mid-30s, light blonde hair, and dark green eyes, holding 2 boys that looked just like Eli and Sammy. On the back of the frame, written in blue ink, "The Turner Boys. Our World." Detectives ran the photo through facial recognition. The results came back within minutes. Laura Jean Turner, presumed dead, missing since 2019, reported by her estranged sister after fleeing with her 2 children. But here's the twist. Laura wasn't the one who locked those boys underground. In fact, a neighbor had called Child Protective Services on Laura 5 years ago. Rumors of domestic violence, bruises on the kids, but CPS never followed up. The file was mysteriously closed, and just like that, Laura and the boys vanished. Until now. Detectives brought Eli in for questioning the next day, gently, with child psychologists nearby. He was calm, older than his years, and painfully honest. "She said he'd come back," Eli said softly. "She said she was just going to the store. That was 4 years ago." "Who's he, Eli?" the detective asked. Eli swallowed hard. "The man with the blue ring. The one who hurt Mommy." "Blue ring?" the detective repeated. Eli nodded. "He wore it all the time, on his right hand." Detectives reviewed body cam footage from the basement. In the corner behind a pile of boxes, someone noticed scratch marks on the wall, like someone had tried to carve letters. They enhanced the footage. One word, barely legible. "Help." But as officers processed the scene, someone was watching them through binoculars. From a white van parked down the road, the van had no plates. Inside, someone slowly twisted a ring with a deep blue gem on their finger and smiled. Detectives traced the mysterious ring described by Eli, the blue gem with a gold band. It was not common. In fact, only one person in the Elmswood County area had ever been photographed wearing something like it, Sheriff Daniel Crowley, the man who had led the original missing person investigation back in 2019. Crowley had since retired quietly, moved to a cabin outside town. No one had seen him in months until now. Armed with a warrant and backup, state police arrived at Crowley's cabin at dawn. The place looked abandoned until they stepped inside. What they found was chilling. Dozens of case files, stacked on shelves, burned edges, some half-eaten by mold, but many bearing CPS stamps and child names long forgotten. The whole cabin felt like a shrine to the cases he buried. In the back room, a trap door, just like the one at the farmhouse. But this time, no children inside, only photographs, burned clothing, and one nearly disintegrated diary. The name on the inside. Laura Jean Turner, the final revelation. At the hospital, Sammy finally spoke his first words in 4 years. The moment was caught on security camera. He reached for Eli's hand and whispered, "He told me not to scream." The staff froze. A psychologist leaned in. "Who told you that, Sammy?" The little boy stared straight ahead, his lip trembling. "The man with the shiny ring. He hurt Mommy when she screamed." The truth unraveled quickly after that. Sheriff Crowley had been running a child trafficking ring, protected under the guise of closed CPS cases. He handpicked vulnerable mothers, like Laura, who had no one to protect them. When they resisted, he made them disappear. The boys? Hidden. Forgotten. Laura Jean Turner hadn't run away. She had been murdered, buried behind the old farmhouse. Beneath a rose bush, she planted herself. DNA confirmed it. Her boys? Hidden for 4 years in a basement, Crowley sealed up himself under fake renovation permits. A man who swore to protect them became the very monster that hunted them. But he made one mistake. He left Eli alive. Epilogue: a month later, the town of Elmswood held a vigil for Laura Jean Turner. The courthouse flew its flag at half-mast. Crowley was arrested at a truck stop in Missouri, trying to flee the country. He wore the blue ring when they cuffed him. Eli and Sammy were placed with their aunt, the same one who filed the original report years ago, ignored by the very sheriff who buried the truth. Reporters swarmed the town, calling Eli a hero. When asked what he remembered most from that night, he didn't talk about the hatch, or the chains, or the scream. He said, "I promised my brother I'd find him. I kept my promise. And in the end, it wasn't a cop, a badge, or a courtroom that saved Sammy. It was the bravery of a little boy who never gave up. No matter how dark it got,